Hi family, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Amanda and this is a transmission, astrology deep dive and tarot pull for the Virgo new moon, which we had on the 27th of August 2022. So I got channelings from the charts. I'll pull them up in a moment and I'll read the messages from there. And this is Pablito, my little Pablo. He's just he gets really edgy with the energies. He's very quite sensitive to them. So he needs some hugs right now. So yeah, hopefully he is settled by the time we need to pull the tarot. So thank you for being here and watching, and let's get into it. Alright, so I'll pull up the chart now for the new moon in Virgo at 4 degrees and 3 minutes at 1817 minutes Australian Eastern Standard Time, which took place on the 27th of August 2022, as we know, and it was in the 6th house of Virgo. So channelings direct from the chart. We have moon conjunct the sun, of course, that's what makes it a new moon, conjunct Regulus, conjunct the descendant. The message that came through was elusive and secretive, wishing to hide from worlds, external and internal, simultaneously wanting to put it all out there. Square Mars, seeking a way out, any way through the minutiae of thoughts. Mars trine Mercury conjunct Psyche, spilling forth, deciding, pulling back, going forward, seeking the right answer. Mercury conjunct Pluto, conjunct Psyche trine Pluto retrograde, apologies. Wavering between eruption and implosion. Mercury conjunct Psyche opposing Jupiter retrograde. Is it worth the risk? What do I really feel about that? What will they think? Am I really ready to reveal that depth to them, to the world, to myself? Neptune retrograde in the first house. Excuse me. Am I just a little delusional or ungrounded now? Or is that how I'm being perceived? Or is that my own fear being projected onto the external, not even perceiving me? Maybe I'm a little ungrounded, Neptune retrograde sextile Pluto retrograde, or thinking I'm seeing too far into something not there. I can feel my way through this seeming restrictive energy, Lilith conjunct Sirius in Cancer, if only control wasn't an illusion. Do I have what it takes? Venus trine Chiron retrograde in Aries? Surely I do. Chiron chimes in. But what about that one time when it didn't work out? Best and safest to continue projecting fear onto an unknown future, just so my ego is comfortable. What about all your efforts and hard work? Remember the initiations you've already overcome and succeeded in. Venus in Leo, opposite Saturn retrograde in Aquarius. You're born to see and feel that which no one else can, or has the wherewithal to bring into the collective realities for humanity. You're here to change and shake things up. Lean in and put your back and muscle into it. It's only hard if you make it hard. You can go slow and steady when you need to. Stretch and flex your schedule when you desire to. However, your eyes will stay fixed on the prize. It's only up from here. Your access to all other routes has been denied. Onward and upward grants dharmas are fulfilled. That's Saturn retrograde square Uranus retrograde conjunct the North Node in Taurus. So the transmission that came through, the message, was closing in on clarity of polarized parallels. I was like, okay, wow, all right. So I sat with it for a moment and tuned into it, and then put pen to paper and wrote it all out. So what came through immediately was Your psyche has literally been psyched. A self-imposed psyop of multidimensional fractalings of possibilities, outcomes, and varying degrees of grandiosity, from depths of fearing negative response, repose, or result, to fantastical imaginings with zero grounding on data presented in the physical. Facts and truths warped and twisted to prevent sudden and existential implosion of your reality. Stretching, blending, and weaving of imposed meaning and profundity, where the truth of the matter is as simple and absolute as grass is green. Navigating the tightrope as it sways the polarities. Lost in the madness of synchronicity and back again to divine genius. Tapped in, turned on, and attuned safely to whichever dimensions of your reality needs attention and coherent, measured, focused attention. Internal emotional storms simultaneously vying for your attention, turning into raging squalls until acknowledged and addressed. Another initiation passed. Deeper awarenesses result, and now the green light is aglow. The honing in of your truth appears imminent once again, as you can feel within your vessel and mind the storm has passed, as too have you to another level yet again. Just in time to enjoy a brief cosmic reprieve before the next round of upgrades. Integrate the vibration and newfound clarity of what needs to change. You can plan the how once Mercury retrogrades to ingress Virgo again. In the interim, more clarity will come, so trust your process. That's the end of the transmission. We're going to go back to the natal chart. You okay, though? He gets very whiny when he's like this, like, yeah. So I've pulled up a series of charts here. The chart that you're looking at now is the Helio chart. I wanted to bring this up because, as with the Aquarius full moon transmission video, I'm not sure if you've watched that yet, however, it is linked below in the description box as well. We did see that Jupiter was still in Pisces, but now it's at 0 degrees of Aries. And we have Mars at 18 degrees of Aries, which we know that it's already ingressed Gemini. So there's this real, it's not, I don't want to say conflicting, however, looking at the Helio, taking that into account, and then looking at the fixed stars, the fixed stars chart, the asteroid chart, and the geo, it's very much like we're being bombarded with extra mercurial energy, extra Mars, Jupiter energy. And I really love this Helio because if you've got Venus at 27, Mercury at 27 of Venus at 27 of Cancer, Mercury at 27 of Sagittarius, and Pluto at 27 of Capricorn. So 27, 27, 27, you know, and then you've got Saturn at 22, Neptune at 23. These higher octaves, these final decan, you know, and these higher octave degrees that we're singing are spiritual mastery numbers. So even in the Helio, I should say, it is quite beneficial for us to, I want to say, integrate that wisdom, because Mercury at 27 degrees of Sagittarius is thus conjunct the galactic center. Now my natal Neptune conjuncts the galactic center. So I know what it's like to be tapped in, tuned, turned on and attuned completely all of the time. Like, I can't help it. It's what I am. So for the collective to be experiencing this in a Helio manner, I feel, looking at Mercury conjunct Psyche as well, like that was really a pivotal point in the chart. I'll bring up the next chart here, is the natal and the Helio, so that you can see the difference, okay? So we have the Helio in the outer wheel, and we've got the the geo in the center here, okay? Geocentric, geo, earth, okay? Helios, sun, solar. So yeah, those are the perspectives, if you didn't already know. And so you can see Mars is here in Gemini, and you've got the ascendant here. Oh, that's one other thing I wanted to mention as well, is that this new moon falls in the 12th house. Like the moon is at 4 degrees of Pisces in the Helio here, you know. So this is giving you that extra oomph of Neptunian insight and vibration of seeing beyond the veil. However, because in the geo it's so heavily based in the Virgo 6th house, 7th house on the descendant there, right? That is what's making us want to be a recluse, want to be a hermit, yeah? So let's go into a little bit about Virgo, yeah? So Virgo, we know, is mutable earth, okay? It rules the Hermit card in the Tarot. She is the maiden, the healer, the wise woman, you know, whom, you know, is of service. Yeah, it rules the 6th house. That's our day-to-day. It's our routine and how we show up in the world. Yes. So looking at Virgo and all of the other, like, what else do we want to tell them about Virgo, please, guys? They're showing me, like, similarly to Aquarius, how Aquarius is the water bearer, okay, and goes and fills up everybody's cup. It's very similar to that with Virgo energies. And now Virgo rules the solar plexus as well. I believe the solar plexus is Manipura chakra, from memory. It's been a while. But Virgo rules the stomach as well, you know. So our stomach is our first point of call. Our stomach is the second organ after the brain that's produced in the womb. So we technically have neurological brain cells in our tummy. And that's why it's so important. Like, that's why our gut health is so vitally important for our mental health. Yeah. And this is why they call it your gut instinct, because it's always emitting and absorbing energies from your environment 24/7. Yeah. So this is why some Virgos can get overwhelmed and within, you're right, baby, and overwhelmed and can suffer like things like IBS or have anxiety issues and such, because, you know, they're taking on everything around them. And yes, Pisces does the same thing, which is opposing Virgo. So that's not surprising at all, you know, like the fish in the water, it feels everything in the water around it, right? So going back to Virgo, and this gut instinct, yeah, and feeling into, you know, the whole mercurial aspect, like it's the gut and it's the mind, right? And so they are very much I think he's gonna want to move in a minute, sorry guys. They are very much interlinked, and this is why, like, yes, Virgo's known as being perfectionist and things like this. However, the high standards that Virgo holds for their external world, you have to understand that Virgo does that to themselves tenfold. You know, like they're their own worst critic. And going back to the anxiety and things like this that the Virgo goes through, like, I'm a Sun Virgo, 22 degrees, so, you know, I completely get it. My Mercury conjunct Saturn in the 3rd house of Libra, but 3rd house is ruled by Gemini. So, you know, dealing with anxiety and things like that has been my past, you know, and it does flare up when we have very hard transits. So I wanted to say there was something else that was coming through about Virgo as well. Oh, the mutable earth aspect and being mercurial. Yes. So thank you so much. Yeah. Virgo, similarly to Aquarius, okay, because Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, has a very, very vast and different outlook on the world and on the realities and in the dimensions. Being a Virgo sun, I can attest to that. I used to say, well before I was awakened to any of this sort of thing, I used to say to like my girlfriends, you know, it's like I see outside and inside and all around the box at once when I'm looking at situations. Yeah, and taking in information as well, you know. Virgos can be just very observant, and yes, we do have that habit of having like resting bitch face. We're not like that. We're not like, it's like a facade that we put on, or it's like a serious mask that we use, because it's just like we're observing everything around us. It's not like we feel one way or the other, you know. We're just taking it all in. And yes, like the shadow aspects of Virgo are super fucking critical, you know. And when I wasn't conscious, I was so aware of that. You know, so there's light and shadow to every single zodiac. And the shadow of Virgo, from experience as well as from what I've researched, is hypercritical, judgmental, really kind of can be quite pragmatic, can be one of the people who is a stickler for the rules. I'm just getting told right now as well that's really highly dependent upon the Saturnian placement that they have. Thank you so much. However, other shadow aspects of Virgo as well will be self-depreciation. Because they rule the solar plexus, that's where our ego is, right? That's where our self-worth is. And Virgo will tend to have a lower opinion of themselves, even though they're working their ass off and making leaps and bounds in their professional capacity or personal life. You know, they will be so super critical on themselves. And this relates to them being ruled by the solar plexus, okay? So calcite, and also citrine. I did mean to say citrine first. So somebody out there who's watching this must need some calcite. Calcite comes in many different colors: green, blue, pink, white, orange, for all the different chakras, but they have all different attributes as well and healing properties. I use green calcite for my heart. However, I'm seeing the more yellowy honey color calcite right now. So somebody might need that to help soothe their stomach, you know. Other things that I use is turmeric with black pepper. So that's a little bit about Virgo. So I will bring back up the asteroid chart. Let's dive into that one. So what you're looking at right now, here, I'll bring it up, cool, is the main asteroids, okay? So like Ceres, Pallas, Juno, Vesta, Eros, Sappho, Psyche, okay? As you can see there at 2 degrees of Libra, which is conjuncting that Mercury there at 1 degree. And then you have Eris, Pholos, Sedna, Chariklo, I believe is how you say that, Humia, Maki, and Hygeia. Okay, so there's some of the basic level asteroids. Sorry, I nearly said fixed stars. There's some of the basic levels of asteroids. However, there is a list of thousands and thousands of asteroids that you can find through a different website, which I'm going to bring up a chart in toward the end there, just to show you some more in-depth astrology if you're new to astrology. And I have linked all of these slides that you're seeing of the charts in my blog post, which is also linked in the description box. So if you do want to have a look through and dive into these charts in your own time, they're all linked in my blog post. So please feel free to go visit that and just click on whichever slide you want to have a look at, okay? So we can see here that Eros is also involved. Ceres is also involved there, conjunct Venus. And also, I'm just looking at Juno here in the first house. I didn't realize that Juno was there until I saw this chart. However, going forward, I just wanted to bring that up so that you could see that, you know, the layers of these charts, like you're looking, we'll flash through them again, okay? So you're looking at the natal chart here, and then you've got the Helio in the natal, and then you've got the asteroid. So like there's 3 layers already, you know? So let's dive into what is Psyche as an asteroid, okay? So Psyche as an asteroid, it's represented as, it's the Greek word for soul. And Psyche is the place in your chart that you can detail for where you can find your entrance into yourself. So it represents psychology and is involved with the discipline of the study of the mind. So Psyche encompasses the soul, the mind, and the self. And so this being conjunct Mercury, it also really, Psyche, after reading up on this as well, guys, like it really gave me the vibe of Neptune, you know? It's just like, well, I can see into myself and into myself again, you know, on all different levels, right? Now, just a little bit of background. It's one of the most important asteroids in your chart. Psyche's asteroid number is number 16, and she was discovered on March 7th in 1852 when the sun was in Pisces. Pisces is a sign of the unconscious thoughts and dreams and is ruled by Neptune, the planet of illusion, mist and vapor, Pisces, and much more. Guys, I'm just reading off the website that I've linked on this slide that you're looking at. Pisces is a sign of unconscious thoughts and dreams and is ruled by Neptune. Yep, we got that. Pisces and Neptune can give us creativity and artistic ability. So basically, I'm not going to read any more off there because Neptune to me rules the pituitary, the pineal, the third eye. You know, it is our doorway, like as is our imagination. It is the doorway to our intuition, right? So, and it's dependent upon how much we trust and strengthen that gift, like by practicing tuning in, will we be able to activate more fully and have more control over our gifts, right? So it also rules the film industry because Neptune was discovered as well very close to around the time that like moving cinema and Hollywood kicked off. I believe there's a very, from memory, because I haven't done an article on Neptune or Neptune retrograde since 2018 or 2019. So you might want to have a look back through my blog and have a look at that blog post as well. I might link that below for you guys. I believe it's like the early 1900s when the silver screen started was around the time that they discovered Neptune, and falls in line with either first camera or first I want to say video camera, like film camera. So Psyche, looking at Psyche in Libra, so it's helping you to not be confused about things that you desire for yourself. You want people to connect with your in-depth mind realizations. Psyche in Libra wants true love that gives you your space and wants a love that has healthy boundaries, even from afar. Now, Psyche's story was first told and written in written form, in the Golden Ass by Ellias in the 2nd century. Excuse me. However, the story itself is much older, with the characters appearing in Greek art centuries before. The story is very long, so it's been condensed here. Excuse me. I'm just going to have a sip of coffee. How long we've been going for? 27:57. So, Psyche was a human woman blessed with extraordinary beauty. Unfortunately for Psyche, the goddess Aphrodite became extremely jealous that men were paying homage to her instead of the goddess. Aphrodite decreed that she would marry a monster, charging her son Eros with the job of making Psyche fall in love with the most hideous man alive. Psyche's father received the message through an oracle that his daughter was bound for a terrible fate. So it was suggested that she be taken to a high cliff and left to fall to her death. But instead of falling, Psyche was saved by the west wind and carried to a beautiful palace. In this palace, Psyche was treated like a queen, and then at night her invisible lover came to her and made love to her. Psyche was very happy, but her sisters were envious and cruel. They laid the seeds of doubt in her mind, suggesting that her invisible lover was in fact the monster the gods once said she would marry. By this time, Psyche was pregnant, and her sisters played on this, saying the child too could be born a monster. Psyche was distraught and knew that she had to see who her lover was, even though he made her promise never to try and reveal his face. One night, with a knife in hand, ready to slay the monster, she held up a lamp over her lover's sleeping form and saw the beautiful Eros asleep in her bed. I just got chills when I read that. Instantly, she was in love and shook with passion. This caused a drop of burning oil to fall upon his shoulder. Eros awoke. Devastated at the broken promise, Eros left wounded and hollow. Psyche was utterly bereft without her beloved. She took revenge on her evil sisters and then wandered the world desolate and suicidal, seeking Eros. Eventually she was caught by Aphrodite and tortured. Aphrodite then set impossible trials for Psyche to prove her worthiness for Eros. Each time Psyche was helped by the ants, by the reeds, an eagle, and an animated tower to complete the task set. The last task was to petition Persephone, queen of the underworld, for a box of her beauty oil for Aphrodite. On the way back, Psyche couldn't help herself, decided she could perhaps use one drop of the oil. She opened the box only to find it contained the sleep of the Hades, or the sleep of the dead. Finally, Eros could bear it no longer. Now that he had healed from his wound, he flew down and rescued Psyche, lifting her up to the heavens, where he asked Zeus to grant Psyche immortality so that they could be justly married. Zeus agreed, and the couple were married in a great wedding feast, and shortly afterwards they had a daughter who they named Voluptas, which means pleasure. So the butterfly wings and the star are her symbols as well. Butterflies symbolize transformation, and they literally transform their shape from unbecoming a caterpillar to an extraordinarily winged beauty. Love, like light, makes us shine brilliantly and brings out our many colors. So I feel that's really beautiful, because when we look at what Psyche is in Libra, right? It's when things can become an obligation for you. You have desires you want to accomplish even when it's hard. It gives you the interest in pursuing genuine love and romance when looking for a connection. And it reveals your true self and sincere intentions when you want to have a lifetime partner. This placement gives you fantasies you may or may not achieve. And I feel that's why I was so drawn to this as well, because it's in opposition to Jupiter retrograde, right? Which is expansion. So what are you expanding? On top of this very, very analytical, very, very minutia driven moon energy we've also had the very passionate Libra Psyche energy and Mercury together opposing Jupiter in Aries. Yes, so we also have to take into account as well the square going on between the sun and the moon and Mars at 4 degrees of Gemini. You know, it's like, do I want to go? Oh, I don't know. Oh, I better pull back. I am going to go. My right ear is just getting a lot of pressure in it right now, guys. It's like, do I want to move forward with this person or this project or this connection, this friendship, this relationship, you know, whatever it is, or do I not? And I feel that Mercury conjunct Psyche, opposing Jupiter, was really amplifying that energy of I need to pull back, otherwise things might explode. You know, like Jupiter was a bit of a pyromaniac, really. Like, let's be real. So let's continue to I'll pull up the fixed star chart now. So the fixed stars, as you can see here, these are the 15 major fixed stars, okay? There are 286 fixed stars in total, scattered throughout the zodiac, okay? Now, we can see Regulus there beside the moon, yeah? We can see Sirius on Black Moon Lilith there in the 5th house, all right? And we can see, I believe it's Alki, that is kind of conjunct Mercury. However, those weren't the ones that I was drawn and focusing on, all right? Like when I was drawn to this chart, yes? So we will have a look now. I will bring up the second fixed star chart. Now, the reason I am bringing this up is because this is what they call an event chart. This has the traditional decans, okay? So we know that a decan is 10 degrees of a zodiac sign. Now, each of these decans are ruled by their own planet, all right? They have their own rulership planet. Now, generally, as a rule, the first 10 degrees is ruled by the ruling planet of that zodiac. So, for example, Virgo, the first 10 degrees of Virgo is ruled by Mercury, as you can see there. However, the next 10 degrees through to 20 degrees, so 10 to 20 degrees, is actually ruled by Saturn. And the final degrees from 20 through to 29 degrees and 59 minutes, because there's no 30 degrees in astrology, it goes from 29 degrees and 59 minutes back to 0. So the final decan there is ruled by Venus. Now you can see again there's another layering going on here, yeah? Now this is Ptolemy's terms, all right? Now Ptolemy was one of the founding fathers of astrology. Yes, he has designed, he has created, he is a leader in astrology and of what we study today, okay? Now, in Ptolemy terms, I believe they're just telling me right now in my ear as well, Ptolemy went off a lot of an Egyptian astrology too. There's Egyptian astrology, Arabic astrology as well, and they deal with lots and bounds. They deal with decans and munifices, which munifices are broken down again. So even further, these are the Ptolemy terms though that we're looking at that are broken down into tinier segments again. So as you can see, there are the degrees there through the first part, not even just over 5 degrees of it's Mercury, double Mercury that we are in with this 4-degree new moon in Virgo, okay? And then you can see the wheel as it goes up. Yes, it's split again, but with Venus, Jupiter, Saturn, and then Mars. So if you want to have a look, like I've linked this in my blog, if you've jumped on the timestamp, all these slides that throughout this whole entire video presentation, whatever you want to call it, are all available on my blog. And in my blog, you just have to go and click on the description box and jump on and have a look through the slides. I have set up live links so that you can just click on the picture, whichever one you want to have a look at, and you can come through and have a look at this in more detail and at your own pace. And you can do this as well for your own birth chart so that you can see how your planets are affected of what signs they are, because that it gives you a massive insight into the layers that are involved in how you are you. So back to this. So fixed stars, we're looking here. Now, the reason why I wanted to show you this chart is because it shows you the constellation of what we call Ursa Major. Okay, now the reason why this is important is because this star, as I mentioned at the very start of this video, is conjunct El Kophra, is I believe how you pronounce it. Now that's the hind quarter of the bear. There's this really beautiful, there's this really like intricate story of how the bear had a tail, and according to Ptolemy, Ursa Major is like Mars energy, you know. So we have this El Kophra energy, which is a fixed star in the Ursa Major constellation. Okay, so Ursa Major, just to give you a rundown, I'm referencing here astrologyking.com again and again. This picture that you're looking at right now, it is linked in the blog article if you've jumped on the timestamp. So it is a northern constellation above Leo and below the constellation of Ursa Minor. It's called the Great Bear. I've known it earlier before coming across this astrologically. I've just known of the constellation Ursa Major being the celestial bear. So I've brought up some bear symbolism for shamanic symbolism of what the bear means as well for you to dive into. So let's go back to Ursa Major here. Ursa Major is the constellation above Leo and between constellation Ursa Minor, which is between the constellation of Draco, which means dragon by the way, and Coma. Ursa Major spans 65 degrees of the zodiac through Cancer, Leo and Virgo, and contains 18 fixed stars alone. So as we said earlier, Ptolemy likened Ursa Major to Mars, so violence, death, ultimate ruin by folly or pride. And if rising Ursa Major, wealth, power, courage, generosity, ingenuity, rise to authority, marital success, subjects to cuts, wounds, accidents, sores and injuries to the face, pains in the head and fevers. If culminating, marital eminence, success in trade and in occupations of a Mars nature. And if afflicting Mercury in any way can lead to deafness. It is said to give a quiet, prudent, suspicious, mistrustful, self-controlled, patient nature by an uneasy spirit and great anger and revengefulness when roused. By the Kabbalists, it is associated with the Hebrew letter Zayn and the seventh tarot major arcana, the Chariot. So this is really beautiful, right? And I say it's beautiful because, one, it backs up what I channeled because I'm just reading this now with you guys. However, I love the Chariot card because the Chariot card talks about that head and that heart alignment, that you know, and to me this is very much what we were speaking about with regards to being secretive and elusive and working out in the channelings there at the beginning and of the transmission. It's like getting clear on a lot of things, you know, finding that clarity before we move forward. And that's what the Chariot card asks us to do. You know, is get the head and the heart in alignment. Don't let either one rule and move forward easily. If the head and the heart aren't in alignment, if that yin and yang energy is out of balance in any capacity, okay, as represented by the two sphinx, the masculine and feminine, but also it's the mental and the emotional that the black and white sphinx on the Chariot card represent, yeah? And then you have the winged disc, which is Isis energy, okay? So you have to have both those sphinx pulling the chariot together. Otherwise, if they were to go separate ways, they'd tear the chariot in two, right? This is what happens to our lives when we don't get things in order or in a harmonious, congruent manner. So going back to here, so Callisto was the daughter of a Lycaon. Okay, that's a bit weird. King of Arcadia, whom Jupiter was enamored, became a follower of Diana on account of her love of hunting, and Jupiter sought Callisto by assuming the form of Diana. And Juno, who discovered the intrigue, turned Callisto into a bear. Angry that the bear was placed in heaven, Juno requested her brother Neptune never to let those stars set within his kingdom, and for this reason they are always above the horizon in Europe. To account for this, for the length of the bear's tail, it is said that Jupiter, fearing her teeth, lifted her by the tail, which became stretched because of her weight and the distance from earth to heaven. So astrologically, both bears are said to presage an evil presence. They are particularly injurious as regards to the affairs of nations and kings. Ursa Major, the Great Bear, always has been the best known of the stellar groups, appearing in every extended reference in the heavens, in the legends, parchments, tablets, and stones of remotest times. Heiss now catalogues 227 components visible to his naked eye, although only 140 appeared to the Ardlander down to the 6th magnitude. Now, although the group has many titles and mythical associations, it has almost everywhere been known as the bear, usually in the feminine, from its legendary origin. All classic writers, from Homer to those in the decline of Roman literature, thus mentioned it. A university of consent as to its form, which it has fancifully been said may have arisen from Aristotle's idea that it is a prototype, was the only creature that dared invade the frozen north. A well-known, although varied story of Callisto, as old as Hesiod's time, who was changed to a bear because of Juno's jealousy, was transferred to the skies by the regard of Jove, has given rise to much poetical allusion from Hesiod's day till ours, especially amongst the Latins. Another version substituted her divine mistress Artemis, also known to the Greeks as Calliste, the Roman Diana, for the nymph of the celestial transformation. The last Greek word well describing the extreme beauty of this constellation. Lalande, however, referred to the title of the Phaeacian Callista or Chalista, safety, as its observation helped to a safe voyage. So, Smith wrote in his speculum of Hartwellium, oh my goodness, such old English spelling. Anyways, you'll see if you click on the link. King Arthur, the renowned hero of the Mabinogion, oh my god, I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, typified the great bear as his name. Arth bear and Ursa, wonderful, implies in the Welsh language and the constellation, visibly describing a circle in the north polar regions of the sky, may possibly have been the true origin of the son of Pendragon's famous Round Table, the earliest institution of a military order of knighthood. Whatever may be the fact in this speculation, we know that the early English placed King Arthur's home here, and that the people of Great Britain long called it Arthur's chariot or wain. In Ireland, it has been King David's chariot, from one of that island's early kings. In France, the Great Chariot, and it was seen on Gaulish coins. Gaulish? Yes, that's right. Thank you. My clairaudience is kicking in when I'm looking at words that I've never read before, just FYI. The Anglo-Norman poet Detharne on the 12th century had it Shari, and Lalande cited the more modern Larue, the wheel. Occasionally it has been called the car of boots. Now, as this carries us back, and this carries us back to another of the earliest titles for our constellation, the Amaxa, wain or wagon. Recall these Amaxa of the Iliad and Odyssey that Homer used equally with Arctos, although with the same limitation to the seven stars. This old and still universally popular title, Charles's wain, demands more than mere attention. It has often been derived from the Saxon Creole and the Carl of the medieval times, our churl, and thus the peasant cart. But this is incorrect, and the New English Dictionary has an exhaustive article on the words, well worthy of repetition here. Now, you can see here that this is Ursa Major, and it's got scattered throughout it all of the fixed stars. Charles Wain's forms Carlos Wain, Charlemagne's Wain, Charlemont's Wain, and he goes on and on and on with all these different variations. Okay, the name appears to arise out of verbal association to the star name of Arcturus with Arturus or Arthur, and the legendary association of Arthur and Charlemagne. So what was originally the wain of Arcturus and Boots, which is Boots' golden wain, the Pope, became a length the wain of Karl or Charlemagne. The guess Charles or Karl's wain has been made in ignorance in history. The astrologers of Shakespeare's time ascribed to it evil influence as well, which Edmund in King Lear commented upon with ridicule. This is excellent foppery of the world, that when we are sick in fortune, often the surfeit of our own behaviour, we make guilty of our disasters the sun and the moon and the stars. Both of the bears have been frequently found on the old signboards of English inns, and more importantly are emblazoned on the shields of cities in Antwerp and Groningen in the Netherlands. Pardon my pronunciation there. Ancient, however, are the Arctos and the Ursa, Ash and the Beer, Amaxa, Plarostrum and Trionis. This splendid constellation ran further back, 3 or 4 or even more millenniums before even these titles were current, as the bull's thigh or the foreshank in Egypt. Pardon me, I'm just getting a ringing in my left ear. It's still ringing, guys, sorry. Or the foreshank in Egypt. I just have to receive this. I might cut it here and just come back. All right, so the bull's thigh or the foreshank in Egypt. Welcome back. Apologies for that. So there was represented, there it was represented on the Dendara planisphere and of the temples of Edfu by a single thigh or a hind quarter of the animal, alluded to in the Book of the Dead as the constellation of the thigh in the northern sky, and thus mentioned in inscriptions on the king's tomb and the walls of Ramesseum at Thebes. Sometimes the figure of the thigh was changed to that of a cow's body with disc and horns, but however called to represent these stars always were prominent in the early astronomy and mythology of Egypt. Mesket. Pardon again the pronunciation, I'm really not sure. It's Mesxet. So I'm not sure what an X is in Egyptian or Arabic, pardon me. Seems to have been their designation, and especially for one of them, as representative of the malignant red Set. Set also Anubis, Papi, Bes, Teba, Tema, and Typhus, according to Plutarch, which was one of Egypt's greatest gods, who subsequently became the great giant Typhon, father of the fierce winds, but slain by Zeus with a thunderbolt and buried under Mount Etna. Sit or Sith, Sut or Sekut, who with this wife Tarut or Tharus, known by adjoining hippopotamus, now part of Draco, represented darkness and the divinities of evil. I'm going to repeat that. Represents darkness and the divinities of evil. I just want to speak about that integration there, yes, of the dark and the light, and how important that is in our own life's journey, soul's journey. So Set was also a generic term applied to a circumpolar constellations because, as always visible, they somewhat paradoxically were thought to typify darkness. Okay, so let's move on. Oh, here we go. The myth of Horus, one of the most ancient, even in ancient Egypt, deciphered from the temple walls of Edfu in 5000 BC, as connected with the stellar hippopotamus, was about 3000 years afterwards transferred to the thigh, which then occupied the same circumpolar position that the hippopotamus did when the original inscription was made. In view of this, Champollion alluded to the thigh as Horus Apollio towards our era when Egypt began to be influenced by Greece, her former pupil. Our Wain was regarded as the car of Osiris, shown on some that the country's planisphere by an ark or boat near to the polar point, although it seems to have been known as a bear. All right, so the last bit of this website that I want to use is this part here, because after completing the revolution around the pole, the bear with a muzzle foremost replaces her unceasing steps in her former tracks. Never immersed in the ocean, but ever turning in a circle, to those born at such a time, wild creatures will show no hostile face, and in their dealings with animals, these men will find themselves submissive to their rule. Such a one will be able to control huge lions with a gesture, to fondle wolves, and to play captive with panthers, so far from shunning the powerful bears that are the king of the constellation. He will train them to human accomplishments and feats foreign to their nature. He will seat themselves on the elephant's back, and with a goad will direct the movements of a beast which disgraces its massive weight by yielding to tiny jabs. He will dispel the fury of the tiger, training it to become a peaceful animal, whilst all the other beasts which molest the earth with their savageness he will join in friendship to himself. Keen-scented whelps he will train. I just want to leave it there, because we'll move on to El-Kuth, but with Ursa Major, I think you're getting the picture here, right? We've got this energy of the celestial bear, the great bear. We have that which tames the wildness within, which is the point of the reason why I wanted to read through to that part, is not because I'm a big geek, that too, but also because I had a feeling that there was going to be Egyptian brought into it as soon as I mentioned the Egyptian and the Arabic astrology. I had a feeling that there would be an Egyptian counter reference there to the Ursa Major, so that's why I continue to read. So I really hope that you enjoyed that little geek session there, and into the constellation. I'm just getting guided now to go back to the traditional deacons and Ptolemy chart. Oh yes, okay. I want to just touch on briefly, I'm getting guided to touch on this briefly right now, just as I'm recording this, so I don't have a slide for it available. However, you'll see there in the first house, Zeus is at 5 degrees, or 15 degrees of Pisces. Let me just double check. $15 degrees and 31 minutes of Pisces. I had to zoom right in. Sorry, guys. So, a little bit of background about Zeus. Zeus is the abuser asteroid. Pardon me, asteroid. Yeah, not a fixed star, not a planet, an asteroid. Now, Zeus being in Pisces is something that I only discovered very earlier this year or late last year. I discovered Zeus through a girlfriend, a fellow astrologer. Shout out to ArcZ Angel. If you're not following her on YouTube or Instagram, go check her out. She's amazing. Zeus is the abuser planet, or the abuser asteroid, pardon me again. Now, that also has a very detailed history, which I'm not going to go into right now. However, considering what we've been seeing over the last three years, yeah, coming up to 3 years, Zeus in Pisces is just, it spells gaslighting, yeah, to me personally. It's spelled Nessus if you want to Google it up. I believe the asteroid number is 7066 for some reason, but don't quote me. Just Google Zeus and have a research up on that. So I really hope that you have enjoyed this presentation. I'm getting chills, guys. Sorry. I'm just like, oh. And now we'll go into the bear symbolism, all right? So for some shamanic medicine of what bears represent and how we can use them as spirit, totem, and power animals, which are 3 different things, and guides as well. Spirit guides, spirit animals, totem animals, power animals. 3 separate things in shamanism. So I just grabbed this cute little picture here of a bear, of a brown bear, because I just love them so much. I think they're beautiful. Bears are actually, of course, being Virgo, my birth, or my astrological birth animal. Anyways, bear to me, and what I've experienced of bear medicine, is very maternal, very courageous, very much like I'll rip your throat out if you mess with anybody that I care about, you know. But also bear medicine teaches us that our dream time is so important, like our sleep, yeah. And not just because bears hibernate, however, it's that connection to those other realms which are just so vitally important to us. To heal. We heal when we sleep. We heal on the astral, you know. And the bear medicine is just teaching me about knowing when to run as well, is coming through. Like when to run towards something, when to ignore something, and when to attack. Okay, that's what's coming through now as I'm like feeling into this. So I'll pull that picture back up again. But so the bear spirit guide, when bear stands as your spirit animal, it's a time to be courageous. When it's a totem animal, and again, guys, I'm going to be referencing 2 sites here. One is called whatismyspiritanimal.com, and the second site that I've pulled up is, it's really weird, but it's worldbirds.com /bear-symbolism. Anyways, so bear as a totem animal for those who appreciate the sweetness of life, and invoke the bear as your power animal when protection is needed. So bear symbolism and meaning. I just want to go to Native American symbolism here. All right, so the first questions that come up for this is, do you need some rest and relaxation? Or has life lost a bit of its sweetness? Is it time to stand tall and face potential threats? Oh my God, this is exactly what I just said. Sorry guys, I should probably read the website before I just tell you what I think. But whichever way works better. Excuse me. Face potential threats without fear. Bear as a spirit totem and power animal can help. Bear teaches you to trust your instincts and let go of all that blocks your path. Delve deeply into bear's symbolism and meaning to find out how it can guide and support you, to strengthen it and empower you. Okay, so basically it says here as well, because you're seeking the teachings of bear medicine, it is a sign your higher self is preparing you for a position of leadership, if only in your own life. So that's really beautiful too. So when bear comes into your life, okay, as a spirit animal, it's trying to tell you many things. If you're a parent, images of a she-bear are very powerful. Your children may need your protection from a group, personal situation. In less specific terms, the bear spirit provides us with the strength in times when we feel weak or helpless, and life can prove challenging. And bear is definitely up to the task. No matter the source, if you have been swallowing your words and compromising your vision, bear's message is stay true. So how on point is that from, if you've jumped on the timestamp, please go back and have a look at the transmission that came through, and everything that we discussed in that came through earlier, because this is really just putting a bow on everything that we've been discussing and talking about with regards to these charts and with regards to the transmission. So it's asking to accept an authority role, not only directly our own lives, but in guiding others, okay? Excuse me. Just gonna have some water. It says here to think of the height and weight of the bear. It demands respect. This is not the time to play dead, but rather engage and inspire. Bear spirit has close ties with the shamanic tradition, particularly in Northern America and Siberia, which makes sense considering that's where shamanism was birthed. A polar bear specifically receives veneration as a sage and an educator, and Vikings wore bear skins to frighten oncoming hordes and invoke the strength of the bear in battle. When we look at bear's hibernation cycle, we are also reminded of the value of rest, quiet, and privacy, particularly in our busy society. It is important to move away from daily clamor so we can truly listen to our higher selves and the divine. All right, so let me just scroll down here a little bit. See what else is there. Oh, there's a cute picture of a tiny little bear. I wish I had picked that one for you guys. It's so cute. All right, so among Native Americans, the bear represents extremely strong medicine, including the special powers in the area of wisdom, strength, and healing. So much is the case that several tribes, including the Zuni, carry or wear bear charms and fetishes for luck and to keep the power of bear spirit with them at all times. That's really beautiful, and I hope that I pronounced it correctly. It's Z-U-N-I, Zuni, I believe. Charms and fetishes for luck. Now, fetishes, yes, BDSM, kink, and all that sort of thing, but no, in shamanism, fetishes are things like feathers, rocks, something that you would find on a medicine walk, things like that. And it comes back from can you please give me the word? It's an Argentinian word, I believe. Fetico is the Argentinian for fetish. And what many shamanic practitioners and people who live a shaman life will have bowls of such things. And this is something I've done my whole life. I collect shells, I collect rocks, I collect feathers and leaves and you know, dried flowers and things like that. And I've always had like a quote unquote quote altar, even though I was not like conscious and practicing spirituality my whole life, you know. I find it really quite funny, but that is what a fetish is. Like it is something in which you can use as a good luck charm or something to protect you, and it can also be used as a divination tool or for a healing tool even. Okay, I'll continue on here as well. Tradition tells us bear guards the western quarter of creation. Yes, so the medicine wheel, the bear guards the west part of the wheel. Okay, so it's red, black, white, and yellow. Now, native lore often speaks of bear as the disciplinary animal, spirit that metes out judgment on bad-mannered humans. Various tribes have bear clans, including the Chippewa, Creek, Algonquin, Huron, and Hopi tribes have a bear dance that empowers warriors and ensures a protective hunt. And finally, bear is strongly associated with the medicine man or shaman of several tribes. So one other thing that I would like to bring up is a medicine that we use during, or I have used it during sweat ceremony. It is called bear root. Ursa, I believe, is the correct name. But its nickname is bear root. Now this is, it's like a mild psychotropic. I wouldn't call it a psychedelic. I guess it depends on how much you eat. However, they call it bear root because when the bears come out of hibernation, you know, and there's still snow and such on the ground, the bears will dig into the snow in order to find this ulcer, so that they can get some nutrients first thing coming out of hibernation. And that is why it's called bear root. Ursa is nicknamed bear root is because of that. So you might want to have a look into that as well. I believe it's OSHA. I'm pretty sure it's an O, not a U. So yeah, have a look into that. And I just want to quickly, I don't feel like I really need to touch on this second website, but I did say that I would, so let's have a look. I've also linked it with the same photograph in my blog for you guys as well. Oh, here we go. This is going to be helpful. The bear is a way to go when you find yourself at an impasse. The animal's power will make a hero out of you, as it symbolizes strength and great courage. Limitations will disappear and obstacles will fall before you. The bear's medicine powers can develop your leadership capabilities, as we discussed earlier, to their full potential and even raise your spiritual level, giving you enlightenment and awakening your consciousness. Okay, so I feel to leave it there, guys. I'll just drop all those down so they don't distract me. Now, the channeled message for the tarot card pull, I've already cleansed the deck, so that's good, was what guidance do you need to best utilize this Virgo new moon energy, okay? Because we still have it through until the 29th of August at 13:08 Australian Eastern Standard Time here. So you might want to check your time converter. If you just go 13:08 AEST to whatever your time zone is, it'll tell you directly. So we'll do a general collective read for messages for you guys, and see what comes through. Yeah, I'm sorry if my eyes look a bit red. These lights are a bit brutal, and I think I have like blue lotus oil in my eye. Kind of hurts. It makes them go red. Yeah, if you put it too close to your eyes. So, removal of obstacles. What guidance does the collective need to best utilize this Virgo new moon energy? Oh, that's right, I was going to too. They just told me I was going to do a Celtic cross for you guys. That's so old school, and I've been doing them for myself personally. I've done 3 in the last 3 or 4 months. One of them was for the Virgo new moon for myself, just earlier today. Oh, he's there. I thought Pablo wanted to go out. Pardon me. All right, so let's do a Celtic cross. I'll take some photos and I'll stick it up on the screen for you. Yeah. All right. So, and then after that, we'll read the 4 degrees of Virgo, pardon me, from Elias Lonsdale's Inside Degrees for another bow on it. Just as the bear gave us a beautiful bow. Excuse moi. I feel like I have energy blocked here. I don't have any phlegm or anything like gross like that. I feel like it's energy shifting, and it's from like this part of my throat to my higher heart, you know? It feels like, yeah, anyways. Sorry, I don't know why I shared that, but that's why I'm clearing my throat so much. Okay, Celtic cross, here we come. We do a 3 card, we split the deck 3 times. Okay. And then I pull, you'll see in a moment. You'll see the photo in a moment because I'll overlay it. All right, so I'm going to cut the deck. I really can't wait to get like a proper webcam and camera, microphone, set up so that I can go live on YouTube. All right, so guys, first card down. Yes, the Chariot. You can't make this shit up, guys. So the Chariot, as we know, it represents the Ursa Major. So, oh my God. All right. Now, this is like the querent. This is you, right? And then we have the crossing card, which is the Leo. And we know that we're in the tail of the lion right now as well, especially being conjunct Regulus as well, which I didn't go into, but I will on another video most definitely. Regulus is a beautiful energy. It can be quite warlike as well, but anyways, it's Leo energy. Let's just leave it at that. Kings, queens, royalty, divinity, you know. So the Chariot is your first card down, and then crossing that, you can see there now with I've got it up over the screen, the overlay is the Strength card. The Strength card pertains to ego as well, because that is what the maiden is stroking the lion, and the lion is representative of the ego in the tarot. Okay, so she's helping balance, bringing the ego back into balance. You know, it's the virgin from the Virgo maiden there, stroking and subduing, I want to say, the lion, like just to, it looks like she's appeasing his ego, but actually in the tarot she is helping him calm down, right? So the next card out, I've got to try and remember the order because I've been a while. 1, 2, 3 is the higher, the message from the higher self, so to speak. Ace of Wands. And then the 4th card out is your current position, and that is the 8 of Pentacles. So what you need to focus on. And then the 5th card out is the 9 of Pentacles. This is energy that you have been in previously. Yeah. So this is all for guidance of what do you need to best utilize this Virgo new moon energy. And then you can see here the Hanged Man is the 6th card out. Now we do a little forecast up the side here toward an outcome. I'm just moving the cards over so I can show you guys. So the first card out here, the Ace of Swords. This is that clarity that's coming in for you guys, right? Your environment is the Page of Wands. It's like you're chomping at the bit, ready for a brand new beginning. What you're concerned about is the Five of Pentacles. Am I spiritually worthy enough? You cannot make this reading up, guys. And the final outcome is the Five of Swords. So this is exactly what we were speaking about at the very, very beginning in the transmission. Right now, you're in a space with this center card. You are the Chariot right now. Yeah? Your challenge is the Strength card. So this is, as we said, relating to the solar plexus, the ego, right? The Virgo energy of the solar plexus, the Manipura chakra of self-confidence, self-worth. This is what you have to take. This is what you have to get passionate about. You have to get passionate about yourself here with the Ace of Wands in this top higher position here. Okay? And the way that you do that is by committing to yourself, right? Yes, the Eight of Pentacles is work. However, they're telling me the word commitment. When the Eight of Pentacles comes upright, it's very indicative of commitment. And now, considering you've come from a Nine of Pentacles energy, I feel that for a lot of you, like what you need to focus on is, yes, things may have dipped down a little bit, but that's because your energy dipped down a bit. So if your finances have taken a little bit of a back crawl for some reason, look at your energy levels and see where that's at, right? So the Hanged Man, Pisces energy, that Neptunian, that Psyche conjunct Mercury energy, looking for that higher awareness. Yeah. It's also telling me that as the end of the transmission stated, it's like, yes, start looking and making the plans that you want to do. However, at the same time, it's like, work out the how later. There's more information coming in. And I think that's why you're being told to be in the Hanged Man energy right now, going forward. Now, the Ace of Swords. The Ace of Swords is what you have. Yeah, like your current position is you're absolutely crystal clear now on how you want to go forward and what you want to do. Your present situation is you're in the Page of Wands. So it's like, yes, I'm looking at the brand new beginning. And again, going back to that transmission at the very beginning, if you've jumped on the timestamp, I'm looking at the brand new. Yes, because as you can see here, his eye line is directly focused on the greenery at the top of that wand, okay? So he's ready to take action. Now, he just has to clear what his fears are around his self-worth, another solar plexus card, yeah, and worthiness card, as the aspect from Venus to Chiron was telling you, and stay out of your head. Avoid, it's two fives as well, guys. Just FYI. 5 is change, destruction, death, rebirth. Yeah. So, please, what I want to say here is, because this is your fear, that's going to be your outcome with the 5 of Swords. If you continue to allow your past to define you, is what they're telling me right now. For some of you, you're not realizing that you're making decisions from the past, you, not your future self. Thank you. Where did that come from? I must have seen it earlier online. Who knows? Sometimes that happens. It sounds like a quote from somebody. I don't know who though. No, they're not telling me. Can you bring me 3 more messages, please? Yeah, okay. So, the best way to utilize this Virgo energy, Virgo new moon energy, is not to try and resist the mental looping, because what you resist persists, right? You have to get to the root cause of it, What are you afraid of? Five of Pentacles, being left out of the lot. Like, this is just giving me a pain right there in the back of my head. So this is messing with your money, right? And that's my vagus nerve. It's the mouth of God chakra as well. So if you're getting psychic attacks, some of you are getting psychic attacks, I've just heard. Someone's trying to block your mouth of God chakra. That's not cool. Rude. Anyways, can you give me some guidance here on how to help the collective navigate away from this Five of Swords outcome? Oh, of course, bottom of the deck. Sorry. Six of Pentacles, balancing, right? But also balancing, recalibration, right? Come back, heart, head and heart. This is massive solar plexus and heart work, right? Gut and head. And that's how we started off speaking about Virgo in the first place, right? The head and the gut and the head connection. Gut health and mental health connection. So, pardon me. The Six of Pentacles to the Emperor, to the Eight of Swords, Four of Swords, Six of Cups, to the Ten of Swords, and then you can start with the planning with the Three of Pentacles to keep your heart open so you can receive and become and embody the Queen of Pentacles energy. All right, so let's go through it again. Six of Pentacles. This is restoring balance in connections as well, is what they're telling me right now. For some of you, it's with somebody extremely stubborn, Aries, Mars energy, could be even Scorpio energy. But however, this pertains to somebody who is like, it's my way or the fucking highway. And you're like, that's not how life works. Don't. Some of you are having temper tantrums. And you're not doing it in an outwardly way. You're being passive aggressive, you know, like giving people the silent treatment and things like that. That's got to stop. It's childish. Eight of Swords. Yeah. Eight of Swords is telling me that you're creating your own jail cell by this pragmatism that the Emperor energy is pertaining to. Okay. So the way you get out of it is through the Four of Swords, by going within and seeking, what am I doing that's not aligned to my soul purpose? Where can I find more joy in my life? Yeah. Where can I allow myself to bloom in the darkness? This is the lily of the valley. The flower. The only flower that blooms in darkness is the lily of the valley. And that's what they remind me of. So where have you been, or where can you, right, to embrace this Virgo new moon energy, where can you allow yourself to come back into your body, out of your head and into your body, and allow yourself to bloom through your dark feminine, your dark masculine? You know, where can you free yourself? Yeah, free yourself of the illusion of being trapped in the I've always been like this energy and this is the way I'm staying. Some of you need to check your Jesus placements. Just saying, that'll help. Because then you can complete it, you know. The outcome at the moment is the 5 and we wanted to get to the 10. Now we got to the 10 by finding out how we can stay in joy and in our hearts. And I just heard, yeah, I just got to cut some people out. As long as you're learning from the experience is what they're telling me right now. If you're not learning and you're just cutting them out to avoid the situation or the confrontation, you need to learn how to have conflict resolution. You need to be able to have open conversation. All right? And then you can start making the plans. And as the transmission said, once Mercury retrogrades and ingresses Virgo again at the 29th degree, you're going to be like lit. You just got to keep your heart open. Some of you claim to be far more compassionate than what you are, is what I'm being told right now. Sorry. Hashtag sorry, not sorry. That's what I'm hearing, okay? Like, do you have true compassion and empathy, or do you just say that because you know it's the right thing to say? Let's be real here. You know, this Virgo season, this Mercury retrograde, we've got Mercury retrograde coming up next, yeah? And then we're going to have Mars retrograde in October, but at the same time, we're going to see Pluto go direct. We're going to see Jupiter go direct. We're going to see Saturn go direct, you know? If you're not getting real with yourself about where you're, some of you need to go and listen to the full moon in Aquarius transmission that was done last, because that has messages for you, and I don't think that you've seen it. I'm getting told you haven't watched it, or not, or you haven't watched all of it. And now I'm getting psychically attacked in my third eye. I'm getting like massive stabbing pains and in my third eye for saying that. So whoever's watching this video and you don't like what you're hearing, just click off. And don't visit my channel if you don't like the way I deliver my messages or the truth that comes out or whatever. All right? Yeah. Clear that energy, please. Thank you. Yeah. Not mine. Straight up. So, for you to best utilize this Virgo energy, yeah, get very, very clear and let go of the how, and realize the how will come when you let go of trying to strive for it, you know, trying to stranglehold the answer. It's not going to come when you're trying to strive for it, yeah? So, I feel to leave the reading there. Yes? Very good. We can leave the reading there. I am going to just put these all back in order. I'll cut this. All right. So, Inside Degrees by Elias Lonsdale. I've bookmarked the page. I haven't read it, as I always leave it to read with you guys, because that's what I love to do. How long will we be going for? 1 minute, 1 hour and 30 minutes. Beautiful. So I'm just going to have some coffee. Just a little sippy sip. Now, Virgo 4 degrees. Okay, cool. It's titled A Small Piglet. I'm sorry, I'm just thinking of Piglet off of Winnie the Pooh. Sorry. A small piglet dressed in baby clothes. All right, so trying exceedingly hard to fit perfectly within prescribed standards and the attitudes and values that are traditional or conventional. Thank you, Spirit. I love you. I love how these put bows on my videos all the time when I do it. Okay, let me start again. A small piglet dressed in baby's clothes. Trying exceedingly hard. Can you not? Oh my God. Artie Lou, for those of you new to my channel, I have a spirit guide, like an aspect of my higher self, right? Who's a comedian, for real. And he's got the dirtiest, darkest sense of humor, but he's a comedian nonetheless. And he's just reminding me of that Alice in Wonderland, like Alice through the looking glass, when there's a baby piglet in baby's clothes in the pram, or the baby turns into a piglet in Alice looking through the looking glass movie. And that's the one where she reads about the Jabberwocky. I used to love that part when I was a kid. I loved the Jabberwocky, like dragons. Anyway, so I digress. I hope you don't, like, I'm just being me, yeah? So thank you so much, Artie Lou. All right, a small piglet dressed in baby's clothes. Take 3. Trying exceedingly hard to fit perfectly within prescribed standards and the attitudes and values that are traditional or conventional. Intent on memorizing each gesture, every turn of phrase, you are almost hysterically straight and narrow, outwardly in juxtaposition to how you really see, feel, and respond to things. Inside, there is a quavering, an intensely alive and overwhelming primal life force generator that any way you try to put it forth is troubling. There is no place for utterly other, total maverick spirits in the midst of ordinary life. So you engage in 1,000 disguises, try absolutely everything, ultimately ending up forced to be transparent, direct, throbbingly real, and so ardently sincere that it becomes just the way you are. And you need to be a part of the mix as the ingredient we all need, so that Earth comes through and speaks and dances and reminds the others that they too are surprisingly strange. Yes, amen. I love that so much. I really love that so much. Seriously, please go and listen to the transmission on for the full moon in Aquarius, because that is also relevant to what we are seeing now. And I want you to reflect as well what went down in March of 2021. What happened in March of 2020? Saturn came into Aquarius. We're on the tail end of that transit. This is the last retrograde for Saturn in Aquarius, right? Once it goes direct, Saturn will be entering Pisces by March of 2023. And then we will start a new cycle, Saturnian cycle. That has a lot to do with a lot of the connections that have been going on with the collective as a whole, all right? This tarot reading, that Inside Degrees, was beautiful. There's a little channeled message coming through about that as well, right? With regards to the Six of Pentacles and the Emperor. There are some of you who are in the Eight of Swords because you're not instilling your boundaries. There are some of you in the Eight of Swords because someone is abusing you with silent treatment and trying to manipulate you with, withholding. Yeah? This being authentically you, right? That came through in the full moon in Aquarius video as well. And that just came through for 4 degrees of Virgo. So please go jump back on the timestamp and have a re-listen. All right. So I'm going to wrap it up there. This has gone for just over an hour and a half. I really hope that you have enjoyed hanging out with me. I have a sale on natal charts, $50 at the moment. I have 9 spaces left available because it was for 20 people only, and then as of 1st of September my prices go up. So if you are very interested in working with me, please check out the details below. Feel free to DM me on Instagram. Okay, I prefer to use Instagram over anything else for DMs. And yeah, I really look forward to catching you on the next few videos. I've got a lot to catch up on, so expect there to hit the bell, because there will be a lot coming out over the next week or so. All right, thank you again so much for being here. I'm sending you new moon blessings, and I hope that you have a beautiful, beautiful next month. All right, see you soon. Bye.